So, still a massive, massive work in progress. But, however, I did get a lot done since the turn in of the object. So, it will show up on the on the repo as it updates things as I work on things. So, um, here is here is the game. I mean, I haven't yet done any kind of menu, but it's kind of working on a little bit of a courtyard. I wanted to give it some color because it was just uglier and all get out, and it was really bugging me. So I mean, I have these up here, and yes, I will get the UI adjusted, but this has been just a lot of fun. So first off, this is just a placeholder for a gate here. Um, this is a closed and unlocked doorway. This is a closed and locked doorway. I'm still working on the key interaction system. I'm not sure what's going on, but I can pick up this key. I can pick up all the torches. I need to fix something that says the torches, because the torches for some reason are stacking and not doing individually. Excuse me. In the inventory, I am going to put a interaction system here that's going to be like, to stop the player, and it'll give like this big spiel about, how you need to work on. I said it best when I was talking to, so it'll be like, gives the player the training info, congratulations, it'll say congratulations for making it through your first test. Beyond this hallway, there's a big world to explore. Will you find all the pieces of the puzzle? Which is a key to, the keys, the visual cues, the object placement, movement, whatever. Or will you meet your fate? Pretty much escape or die. Don't tread too far into the darkness. It will overwhelm and consume your senses. This is a hint dealing with the torches. I remember in the original ShadowGate, the torches could actually run out of light, and when they ran out of light, it just got like super dark until you found another one. So that's kind of the hint to that one. And it says, "Oh, excuse me. Be wary, traveler. This place has eyes all around you." And and then the creature fades out. Nothing in those parentheses, explains. We'll actually talk about, we'll show on there, because I'm gonna leave it to the player to figure out what's going on. I have a hallway here with quite a few torches. I'm still working on making a blackout when the torches are taken. So, and then I've got the UI. The UI over here. I need to readjust and reformat all the buttons, because things got to be kind of a mess, because I kept trying to do things, and then whenever I would do something new, it would throw them all in the whack. And plus, whenever I still need to figure this out, because every time I make this bigger, you can see it like completely kills the UI. So over here I've got it pre-organized. This is the player system here. He's got he has a rigid body and capsule colliders, and this is for handling of interaction with like the world and whatnot. So as you can see, you got the first step here. This is just a spawn door that's I'll show you how that works in just a minute. But that required there to be a rigid body on the character, which is fine. Because I mean, it's a first person, you're not really going to see any arms or anything like that. You can see from the character here that it's just got a simple capsule collider and then the camera. I have the constraints for the capsule collider or sorry, for the rigid body, so that way it doesn't fall over. So I've got the freeze rotation set, so that way it doesn't, you know, stays up and doesn't like fall over to front, back, whatever. And you can still rotate on the y-axis, which allows the camera to turn. And then next we have the canvas. This is the UI system that controls all that fun stuff up there. And then controls things like the inventory, the birth system, all that fun jazz. And then there's the narration panel. This is where it'll pass information, and you will see that later as well. And then the inventory panel. The tooltip I'm still working on. I want it to be like, you know, mouse over, be like, hey, you know, if I mouse over this, it'll say torch. You know, and it'll kind of help guide the player into what kind of items they can interact with. So, and then as they get further on, there won't be any tooltips. So, this is the entrance room. Just a couple of prefabs or rooms and whatnot. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Just kind of a goofy. Oh, what in the heck did I just do? Okay, there we go. Like I said, nothing fancy. Just a couple of rooms and whatnot. Give stuff to move around. I'll build more as it comes along. We've got a T intersection. So this is the closed lock door. As you can see, the initial door only has the audio source on it. That's just for information. This is where all the logic happens. This is just a color. So we got our box colliders. It needs the colliders for the raycaster so it knows what it's pointing at. And then here's the information that's per door. So this tells you, hey, I need this key to open this door. These visuals I'm still working on. So I actually just made the door go poof for now until I can figure out animations and whatnot. Gave it a sound. So that way, and then the inspectables supposed to be this when you like click on the door and you click on look, but for some reason it's not quite there yet. So, but work in progress. There's a lot done. This is the key. This will be the key to open the door. As you can see, it's controlled by a scriptable object. So I actually have, when creating items, I have a ShadowGate item system that will allow me to work with the inventory here. So it'll be like, hey, I put the item name here, and then I can give it an icon. An icon will be just a little sprite and whatnot. So, you know, let's say I wanted to be, I'm going to say book. So I can have this be like, you know, spell tone, tone. And then I can work on getting a sprite for it. I'll just do, you know, there we go. Woo. I guess I got to add more to it. And then I'll make a 3D object in the world, like this key here, and I'll put the pickup item script on it, put on the inspectable script, and put on the clickable object. The clickable object works in conjunction with this world click handler. So as you can see, world click handler, player camera, objects. So the objects layer is the layer in which all the 3D, anything that's not the UI resides on. And the world click manager actually makes it so that the UI bypass it, or that the raycast will bypass any canvas that doesn't have a button or any objects that are on it. So in this case, it's the corner up here. So let's see. We got our managers here. So we got a narration manager. This handles the text inputs over here. The game manager. This is the game manager itself. Let's see. I need to put the inventory, and then the narration manager, which is narration manager. There we go. All right. It's doing some updates, so things aren't quite, you know. The narration manager handles all text feedback. It's actually been a lot more handy than trying to use like debugs and whatnot, because I have to have this thing made this big here just to get the right thing. I can't really see the console and stuff down here, so the debug, so it feeds information through there. So I'll get that fixed so it's not there anymore. But then we got some torches. This is another door. This is one's closed here. First step is that log. I'll show you just in a second how that works. There are quite a few scripts that are working together here. So this handles the inventory. So this clears the actual inventory itself for every time that I press play. So new game, whatnot, this will clear it. This actually adds the item when you click on the take. This will add the item to the inventory. Now the remove item, it will only remove it once an item's been used. So I know I need to comment this more, but I've just been like going to the wall to get it done. This here is the game controller. So this is the game controller itself. So you can see I need to link the player inventory. I need to do the narration manager. This is like core references and then state tracking. So the state tracking allows me to physically see in the inspector what verb is actually activated. This was another troubleshooting step that was there, so that way I knew when the verbs were being activated and not activated. Again, this is just a singleton. It only calls when it's awake. So it will not throw in the towel with every room I change or every world I go to or whatnot. This will actually keep the inventory going. So this kind of stays awake and keeps everything. Here's the set verb. It's called when any verb button is clicked. So each one of those verbs actually has a button click that's controlled by the game manager. And then that just sets the verb. Now, this is when the player selects an item, keys, torches, whatever else I want to give it to. And it'll be like, hey, narration, show message. So this broadcasts it to the narration manager that, hey, such and such item is selected. No item is selected. Uh-oh, So if you try to click on something that's not selected or whatnot, it'll be like, no, no, no. So this is referencing an interactable script. I will get there in just a minute. So this handles all interactions with the world first. So if there's nothing to interact with, and you try to click on something, it goes, yeah, well, wait, no. And if you try to do, if there is a verb clicked or something that can be activated, it'll be like, hey, you need to click a verb first. So, and then these are just quick checks, just to kind of keep things organized. So this was a camera that I was working with. I didn't like it too much, so I decided not to use it. This is obsolete. Okay, so this is the scriptable, and it just says, hey, create asset menu name, scriptable object, string, icon. So when I make scriptable objects, this create asset ShadowGate item is what actually creates that menu within within Unity. So I can go, hey, you know, create, and then there's, you can see ShadowGate and then items. So those two actions are right there. And it's like, you know, public class item, scriptable object. It makes one of these, and it's like these are the things that I can put on there. Now I can put anything on there. I can add game objects. I can add particle effects. I can add, you know, whatever I want to them, and that's, you know, I can do it that way. That way I don't have to actually do it on the object itself, and this way I can change it per object. So it's kind of a neat thing. This was something I learned when I worked for I3, the military contract. So here we have just a simple inventory slot UI script. Just says, hey, item, button, text, you know, button, label, bind. This just puts everything onto it, clears listeners, so there's no duplicates. So this doesn't quite work right because I do get when it says no duplicates, it's supposed to put like, you know, torch, key, torch, book, whatever. It's not all supposed to stack. So this isn't quite working right, but you know, it's doing what it can. So this is just, this right here is just simple, just a blocking object. Something easy, something stupid. I just threw it on the walls, and this way if the player, because we're not actually using a full body or that kind of collisions, I needed something else to try to stop the player. So that's where this came into play. Any object I don't want the player to pass through, wall, mirror, whatever, this will happen. Now if I want to be like, you know, hey, there's a picture that I want them to be able to step through, like a secret or whatnot, I can take this off of there and take the collider off there, and the player will be able to pop right through it. So the door and the ShadowGate UI, and I'm gonna rename all this stuff. I'm not gonna leave it as, you know, ShadowGate, because if I do, it'll be like bad juju. So I'll have to change all the references and whatnot. So this is the pickup item here. This just, you know, on interact. So this right here comes back to this. This is where the Unity DLL type thing comes from. So as you can see, we got a public interface, interactable, and it's just like, hey, you know, anything that I need that's going to inherit the interactable keyword. So you know, like my pickup items, my doors, my anything else that may be on here that I'll be able to interact with is going to pick up that, and then it'll have this inheritance to it, and it's like, hey, you know, this is going to be interactable. Well, it's going to be interactable, then I need something that references it. So here, you know, here's the interact. Well, and then this decides, well, what's the interact going to do? Well, it's going to do this and this and this. This one actually does states for like look, open, else if. I tried doing a switch at first, and you know, switch in cases and whatnot, but it had an issue going through the states and going through the switches and whatnot. Maybe I just don't know how to use them right, and it was just having issues, so I just decided to do it differently. So I just did, you know, use the if and else if and whatnot. So in the case that the door actually opens, you know, here it is, you know, door open, Boolean change for is open true, because the doors do have these Booleans on them. Right here it says is locked. So here, and then it uses the is open Boolean control up here. It's like, oh hey, no, it's true. The door's open. Oh, what are we gonna do now? So this causes the make the noise for the door, and this causes the door to kind of go poof. And then it's like, and then this broadcasts again to the narration manager. It's like, hey, the door vanishes in front of your eyes. Woo, poof. Um, let's see. So we talked about the pickup item. Now, when we pick up the item, I don't want it to remain, so destroys it, goes poof, gets rid of it. Now, if I can't do anything with it, like pick it up or otherwise, it's like, hey, you can't, you can't look at that, you can't hit that, you can't, whatever. And speaking of hit, I haven't quite got anything that I really want to use with hit. I just remember in the old text adventures that hit was a thing, and I'll just have to figure out how to use it. Like maybe hit a light, hit a door, hit a window, something like that to make some noise, hit a bell, to do something. So simple clickable object again. This went with the ray casting. So let's see. So with the ray casting, this just says, hey, ray cast from the camera. If it's the pointers over the object and not a UI, it's going to ignore any clicks that may go on the UI. Raycast from the camera, ray, main camera, screen point to ray. From the input mouse positions, it just points, wherever the mouse is on there, it'll point, it'll zap it. This references that interactable again. It's like, hey, are we interacting? Yes, no, let's go, here it goes. Now, if there's ever an issue where it's got no interactable script on it, meaning there's no script that has the interactable modifier on it, it'll be like, hey, there's no interactions on here. Are you sure that's what you wanted to do? And then it pops it off. So like here on the inspectable, so it's got the interactable. If the script, if it does not find any object or anything in parent or children on the object that has an interactable script, it'll kick back at me and say, hey, it is clickable, but it doesn't have an interactable. So the roll click handler, this is just there for, I was having problems with the raycast and actually getting through the UI, and for some reason I could not treat the UI as if it was it kept bouncing off and having issues. So I had to figure out another way to raycast from the mouse pointer, and I ended up finding a bypass. Actually, it was from a friend of mine that works on the layer mask. So if it goes by the layers up here, where this one says objects, it's like, hey, anything that's on this object can be clicked on. So it ignores the UI, but it'll only find things that are tagged with this. So if I got some 3D object on there that says, that's layers default or whatever, it's not going to be able to be clicked on, and I'll probably get that error that's like, hey, there's no interactable script. And again, that kick down is back here as well. It's another ray casting. Right. See, we already talked about the inspectables. The inspectables is just kind of I'm working on a way to give the game a little bit more story and oomph and whatnot. I want the player to be able to like click on a door and go, hey, like this here. It looks like an old door. It has some filigree on it, and most of it is very oxidized. There is a keyhole. There must be a key around here somewhere. And I just realized that I've been talking about all that code, and it is not showing up on my screen. Oh, that's great. So I'm gonna have to do do another window capture. Give me just a second. Window capture, and I wanted to capture Visual Studio. Okay, we'll make this. So window capture 1, window capture 2. And I have been closing out all the scripts as I talk about them. So up here at the top we have the interactable. And then this has got that. Oops. This has got that interactable interface, or this is that interface that I was talking about. Narration manager. Again, this is just more on that. You know, I'm trying to make it more upfront. This was some other stuff that I was working with, and you know, I put some summaries and whatnot. You know, so we got, you know, assigns the UI text element from the ShadowGate UI, and then that's the set UI text, and then this shows narration text and hides after duration, because I was having an issue where text was stacking on top of each other. It was just making a big old mess. So this allows it to, it does a coroutine that, you know, makes it fade out. It's like, all right, here we go, we're gone. This is the player controller. So, you know, this talks about the player inventory. This talks about the game controller. This just initializes everything that I just talked about. The refresh inventory, again, it just, like it says here, clears old slots, rebuilds UI, and bind the slots to the item. Oh wait, that's the ShadowGate UI. Okay, so if I do the room controller script, okay, so this is how the player moves around, and that's pretty much what it grabs the camera, moves forward, moves backward, does a left, does a right, and this is just your basic, just turning and whatnot. This sets just different movements and whatnot. So think of it like a more camera-based player controller. So there's not really a need for you know, game stuff. So we are going to look at this here and wait for it to start. So we have backward movement, forward movement, turn left, turn right. So if I go to this door, it's like, oh, you blocked, you can't move. You see how it's got this text here? And then, so if I bet you I know what happened. So this canvas here, we've got our main panel here. So that's what this is just a, but so it is actually this narration text here that was causing that issue. So I will actually shrink that. I will shrink the box itself. There we go. And then I will move these down, and I'm gonna fix all this. Like from the first action of it, you can tell that it wasn't that it wasn't quite working right, but it was a little bit cleaner. Alright, so let's see, I should be able to, not quite, I need to move these up. Oh, working with UI elements is fun. I've actually been enjoying this, so, but okay, so we go forward, we go left, we move towards this gate thing, and we're gonna go look at, I try to open it, nothing happened. Alright, why is my text, oh, what in the blue? If it ain't one thing, it's something else. But half the fun's working on it, and I've gotten, alright, so there we go. Okay, so let's try it again. We'll move over here to this, we'll go click on look, and look activated. Oh, this door is locked. Well, bummer. And this is where that other script is gonna come in. The inspectable, so I've actually got something set for that. You can see it, move forward. So like I can click on take here, and I got this torch here, and it's like, oh look, I got a torch. And it creates an inventory button down here. Torch selected. So use the torch. I don't really have a use for it yet. So alright, so I am going to look at this door, an unlocked door leading to another room. So we're gonna open the door. Door disappears. What was that? And you can see that the door closed behind the player. That's what that slamming noise was. That was that thing they used. And you notice the music changed as well. So now I am stuck in this room here. So I am going to take this key. So I'm going to use the key on the door. And it worked! Ha! I thought that was broken, but it worked! Rock on! Okay, so as you can see, that door I couldn't before, but now I can. So now I can go through. And I can kind of wander around. But as you can see, fun stuff. So if I try to hit the wall, nothing happens. If I try to hit this door, nothing happens. But if I look at the door, unlocked door leading to another room. So this is another one that I can just open, and it takes me out on the terrain. Mechanics are consistent. There's just some stuff that I need to fix, adjust, and whatnot, and add more to it. So the torch system will be a thing. But yeah, so this is my ShadowGate clone, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So thanks for your time, thanks for listening, and thanks for being a great teacher. I appreciate it.